Well, although it's still warm, autumn is upon us and the days are getting shorter, winter is coming, it's horrible. But anyway, that gives me a craving for comfort food. And today we're going to dive into one of the most popular of those in Greece, which is a beef casserole with orzo. And in our household, it's probably the ultimate comfort food, I would say. We don't need a lot of ingredients. We have some veggies, we have some spices, tomato, stock, wine, orzo with, what was it, with egg and milk?
Yeah, this is from a village with fresh eggs and milk.
And of course a shit ton of olive oil because, well, we're in Greece. And then today we are going to use some Black Angus beef ribs, and look at the marbling on those babies here. I mean, it's amazing. This is really prime cut. Yeah. But actually, this is a forgiving recipe. You can use many different cuts for this. They don't have to be super tender because you're going to cook it for a long time. But using beef ribs bone-in gives some extra flavor to the sauce. So I'll see you at the stove. First up, we need to get a good sear on our beef. I have the middle big burner here running on, let's say, medium heat. And then we're going to add a healthy glug of olive oil here. The meat has fat, but we want oil in the sauce, so better do this. And then we're going to get them in here to get some searing here. But don't overcrowd here. We've talked about that before, because if you overcrowd, then it just starts steaming, and then you don't get a crust, then you're basically boiling it, and that's not what we want. So we might do this in a couple of batches. But again, look at them marbling in that. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah, that would be 2 batches, but that's okay. Get in there. Meat side first, and then we do all the sides, including the bone side. So we make sure we get a good browning. And when they release, and you get that browning, that's what you're looking for. Then we put them on the side, and we're basically continuing all the way around. Last one's done here, so let's get them out. And then we go straight in with 2 diced large onions and 4 diced carrots. And now we want to let this soften up. It will take a couple of minutes, but
be patient.
Be patient. Now we want the onions to get slightly translucent. Don't overcook them and don't brown them too much here. But we want them to get a little bit sweet. When they get to this point, translucent, and the onions, they start to have a slight smell of apple, then you know they're done. That's actually a little trick there. Let's move everything a little bit to a side here so I create some space. Something like that. And then I'm going to go in with 3 minced cloves of garlic that we want to let get fragrant. But at the same time, I want to add tomato paste. How much is this? 200 grams? Yeah. I'm going in with all of it because we want the flavors. But you want the tomato paste to cook out a little bit, otherwise it gives I don't know how to explain it, like a raw flavor. You let it cook out for just a little bit here, like we do the garlic. And actually, I turned it down to low here, not to cook too fast on this, but this is cooked out nicely. The garlics are fragrant. So we're going to mix all this up. That's going to be a beautiful base for our sauce.
It already smells fantastic.
It smells amazing. This is such a, I mean, it's a delight of a dish, trust me on that. So that's nice and combined. Then we're going to go in with some red wine. Take something decent, not super expensive, but don't go too cheap either. What do you say, half a bottle?
Let's start with half.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have the stock also.
A little bit more. There we go. That is a leftover for the chef. I just want to bring that back and boil off before we go any further. First of all, this will deglaze the pan and it will create a lot of flavor, but we want to just evaporate the alcohol before we continue. And when this has evaporated and it doesn't smell this alcohol flavor in the air, scent, whatever you call it, then we're going to go in with some of our homemade beef stock. It's only 300 milliliter, but it's super condensed, so it gives a ton of flavor. There's a link down below how to make that. It's a delightful stock, actually. Perfect. And that looks good. This is already so much. It smells amazing.
It does.
And this is nice and boiling. Then we're going to go in with some crushed tomatoes. This is 2.5 kilos. I'm not sure I need all of it, but we will see. We will go in with, I need to have space for the beef, you know. I think 2/3.
We can add again if we need more.
Yeah, we can add more later if we need to. Then we have to add our spices. And as this comes back to a proper boil, we have time to do that. I'm going to go in with 3 sticks of cinnamon. And that is, and you need to do that. And then we have here, 25 cloves? Something like that. That's also a given.
That's all the good aromas.
Yeah. And then bahar.
Bahar.
10 little balls. 4 bay leaves. They go in. Let's get that a mix around. Nice. And then I'm going to give it a good pinch of salt now. Obviously we are going to taste it later, but just to, salt helps the flavors to combine. So good pinch of salt and some freshly cracked black pepper. And basically stir it good, and basically that's it for now. We go back with our beef and we nestle them in nicely here. Oh, this is gonna be fantastic eating. But as you can see, I took quite a lot of beef here because this is one of those dishes. When you make it, you want to make a lot because people, they come back for seconds. Trust me. And
yeah, I attest to that.
Exactly. And by the way, it's also one of those dishes that reheated the day after as leftovers. It's amazing. It's actually even better. I think that looks good to me. I don't think we need more tomato at this point. What do you say?
Yeah, that looks okay.
Yeah. Let's bring that back to a simmer and then I'll show you the next couple of moves. This is going nicely, so now it's time to switch it off here, cover it up, and on with the gloves because this is warm. And off to the oven. And here we have the oven preheated to 180, and we're going to put it on the middle rack with the lid on for at least the first hour. Then we might put it a little bit ajar. We will see. An hour in, and let's get it out of here so we can show you how it's going. Ooh, it smells good in there.
I can smell the garfunkel and the cinnamon. And
absolutely.
Ooh.
That smells good. Let me close this so we don't lose any heat here.
That looks interesting.
That looks really good, actually. I'm quite happy with that. Let's give that a little bit of a stir here so we can see. Oh, it's quite liquidish, actually. I don't think we need to add anything. I have some hot tomato juice here on the side, but right now I'm actually pretty happy with this. This is not too thick for the Orzo. Let's see how the meat is going. Ooh, it's not finished.
No.
Not finished yet, but it's definitely coming there. This was an hour 10, so I would guess
maybe 40, 45.
Yeah, I don't think much more actually. But a couple of things here now. Parmesan rind. That's one of our small secret tricks here. We're going to put that in for the last, let's say, hour of cooking. That will release quite a lot of good flavors and texture to the sauce. And then I want to have a little bit of a taste for salt here. I don't want to burn myself, obviously. I have a tendency.
Not more than me.
Oh. That's damn good, but it needs some salt. So, a couple of pinches here. Keep in mind the Parmesan rind is also a bit salty, so you might dial back just a little bit of what you think. Oh, that's really good, actually. This is going to be good eating tonight.
Looking forward to it.
But that goes back in the oven. And then we see in, I would say 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We will see again. But back in she goes. And we have to be patient. Well, we let it go another hour because we like it fall off the bone. So let's see how this is doing. Let me get it out here so you can see. Lid off again. That looks good. But definitely it smells good.
Yeah, pinch it with a fork there to see, yeah.
And now we want to see, oh, this is like completely, I don't know if you can see this, but this is what you want from, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So now we're going to crank this up to 200 and I'm going to grab my lid. And then we are going to prepare the orzo. And now comes another trick, because for the orzo, we need to fry it a little bit. Let me get the pan started here on, let's say, medium. And we're going to add a healthy amount of olive oil. 4 tablespoons, maybe? Yeah. Maybe I'll add some more. We will see. Anyway, the idea here is that we have to fry our orzo, and we're going in with a kilo here. You want to fry it until it becomes like golden, like you would rice for a risotto. That's basically what we want to do.
And what do you achieve with that?
Because we're going to cook it in the sauce, and if you cook it, let's say raw, then it will become mushy and stick together and become like lumps of orzo. It's not going to be very nice. This way, when you fry the orzo first, then you're going to get like I don't know if you call it a shell. It's going to be hard a little bit on the outside, so they separate when they're cooked to al dente, you will have nice separated orzo. It's going to be perfect. So give it a couple of minutes here on the pan till it gets golden. When you have like golden colors like this on your orzo, then they're good to go. And now we want to get them into our pot. Let me move it a little bit closer here. We're gonna need a little bit of work to get that in between the beef here. Actually, they sink more or less by themselves. No, it's... We just need to get all of it in, and I do think that we will need to add a little bit of our tomato juice here, because the orzo will absorb some liquid. We want to end up with a sauce, but we don't want to end up with a dry product here. So all the orzo is in, so just with a spoon, make sure that it's all submerged. But as I said, I will add a little bit more tomato juice here because it will absorb. Get rid of this, and then we pour this over the top, like, I don't know, maybe half a liter, just to give a little bit more liquid.
Yeah, instead of putting just warm water, which you can do that obviously.
Actually, exactly that actually, because I've seen so many recipes when we were researching for which version we were going with and trying out the recipe. I mean, we have made it privately many times, and then they add water, but I don't want to dilute the sauce. I want it to be tomato forward, because that's what I believe is correct. So now we put the lid and we go back to the oven. And Now we are all up to 200. And we're gonna put that back where it was before in the middle rack here. And then we're gonna let it go for, well, the cooking time for the Orzo, if it was in boiling water, would be something like 8 to 10 minutes. But this is simmering, so probably 15, we will check it. But don't let it go too far, you don't wanna overcook it. Well, here we have it out of the oven. Let me put my gloves, I don't wanna burn my fingers here, and that's exactly what you want. You take it out of the oven just shy of the Orzo being ready because it will continue cooking a little bit. But let's see what we can, oh, look at this. I mean, this is like, this is, I don't know how to explain the smell. It's like, we need smell-o-vision. I've said that before. But this piece of beef here, and I have to show you.
It falls apart, right?
Look how it falls apart completely. It's beautiful. The fat has rendered out. It's like,
wow, I can smell it all the way.
No, but I mean, you can see it from the top camera, but what this is completely fall off the bone perfection when you are talking a beef casserole with Orzo. It's excellent. So let's get some of the Orzo out here next to our beef. This is gonna be good eating. You have no idea. And then we're gonna add a little bit of parsley over the top, just for the color and basically just for the color. And a little bit of grated Parmesan. After all, it is a pasta dish, so you need cheese.
Obviously.
And there you have it. One perfect serving of beef casserole with Orzo. Well, here's my wife, aka camera woman. Let's give this a try.
Yeah, well, it's one of my favorite recipes, so I couldn't wait any longer.
It is definitely looking good and it smells fantastic.
Oh man, that meat is amazing. And the pasta, you're gonna love that sauce with all the beautiful there, cinnamon and
Garfunkel, yeah, garfunkel. Oh. Either way, whatever piece of beef you choose, I can recommend beef ribs because they match nicely with this. There is a nice fat rendering that gives a lot of taste, but you can do it also with a leaner cut of beef if you so want.
well, you did it again, not because I'm married to him.